Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I possibly can. It's really late. I have something different with my job, so it takes a little bit longer than usual, so I don't even know when exactly this is going to be going up. It should be going up Monday morning, but I just don't know when on Monday morning. Anyway, added to that, yeah, I got a late start on this one because I didn't watch it really. I did not watch it live. I basically got home at almost 9 o'clock and thought I could watch the pre-show on Peacock. I could not, and because of that, I had to go and watch it on YouTube and basically fast forward to the pre-show match and then switch back to Peacock. And kind of in the process of doing all of this, part of them, a couple of the matches got spoiled for me, and so. Yeah, the show just kind of sort of an off feeling all night. But still, I think, if I do this again, it's probably not going to go this way. I think what I will do is I will probably have to just watch it on my phone with the sound off. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's start with a kickoff show match. That was Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Right off the bat, Carmella gets on the mic. She's upset about how Morgan almost broke her nose a few weeks ago. Morgan, and then it basically used it as a cheap way to cheap shot kick Morgan in the stomach. Morgan came back. She almost catapulted Carmella into the corner turnbuckle again. Carmella came back. She pulled Morgan off the apron. She had a big super kick on her. At one point, Carmella had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, not the kind you're thinking of, though. She hit some type of slam, and her knee boot legging fell down. She had to spool that back up. And then she hit a hair pull slam. Carmella hit a hair pull slam. Morgan fought back. She hit a Fez press and flying knee. And then Mella came back and did sort of a triangle choke with her legs and pulled that into the tarantula finisher. Not so much finisher, the tarantula hold. But Morgan fought back. She catapulted Carmella into the announce table where she crashed her nose again, and then hit a flatliner off the ropes for the 3 count and the victory. Yeah, pretty basic kickoff show match. Not really a lot of substance here. I mean, I know Carmella and Liv Morgan have been feuding for a few weeks, and it's at least nice to see them get, especially Liv Morgan, who looked like she was getting hot for a while and then kind of vanished for a few weeks and now suddenly is back. So at least again, it's like she's rebuilding some momentum, and but other than that, yeah, pretty forgettable overall. So let's move to the show proper, and that started off with a 6-man tag team match. The New Day taking on Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Omos. And basically, what happened was during the kickoff show, there was this big scuffle between the groups backstage. The New Day arrived, and AJ Styles said something that cheesed them off. They got into it, and then Bobby Lashley interjected. And so, yeah, again, kind of wish this had maybe been set up a little bit, because they did not announce this until literally the midpoint of the kickoff show, and it's like that's why the picture for that one's so off looking. And it's like, again, you could have easily just announced this a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I don't think this really hurts that. I don't think it hurts anyone that much to do that. I think that probably actually helps hype the show up a little bit more. But no, instead we hit this stupid backstage thing. And also, again, everyone's probably a little cheesed off that, well, Lashley had partners in the Hurt Business, but you broke them up. And, you could have gotten Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander a payday, but instead it's AJ and Omos. But admittedly, AJ and Omos are way more popular tag team. Sorry about sorry, Shelton and Cedric, but that's kind of the breaks. Also, the New Day came out. They were in I I like their gear. It was inspired by the Fugees album, The Score. So yeah, kind of brought back some memories there. Right off the bat, Styles fought out of a suplex, tried to put Xavier in the calf crusher. Kofi got in the ring. Styles kind of did like a little pulling on Kofi's tights that enabled him to get a chop block. Lashley got in the ring, but the New Day managed to win and hit the Unicorn Stampede on him. Teams got a fight outside the ring, and that allowed Lashley to get a cheap shot on Kofi and get the advantage back for the heels. Omos hit basically a front suplex on Kofi Kingston. Styles attacked Xavier and then was trying to cheap shot Xavier. Would almost hit the referee in the process, and you could tell they got into a bit of an argument there. Xavier hits missile dropkick on Big E, and got Big E on the tag. As this was about to happen, though, Lashley grabbed Big E and threw him into the ring steps and knocked him out for a while. But eventually, they got back into it. Big E managed to lure because of a blind tag misread. Styles blind tag Lashley and went for the phenomenal forearm. But then, just as he was starting to take off, Lashley reached out and blind tagged Styles, and Styles missed the phenomenal forearm. Lashley went for a spear on Big E, but he dodged it and wound up spearing Styles instead. And Big E hit the big ending on Lashley for the 3 count of the victory. And then later that night, Lashley issued a challenge to face Big E for the championship tomorrow night on Raw. Well, Monday night on Raw. And Big E accepted, and that's going to kick off that show. So, the match overall, really well done for a 6-man tag, especially one that was apparently slapped together at the last second. But yeah, pretty decent, good action, good storytelling. New Day still work really well together, even though they really haven't done that in about a year. But still, overall, pretty enjoyable. Good way to start the show off, the proper show off at least. Okay, our next match is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, the Usos against the Street Profits. We get a brief recap of the Bloodline attacking Montez Ford and injuring his ribs. Those ribs are still wrapped up. Early on, Angelo Dawkins hit Jimmy Uso with a big drop kick, and followed that up with a lariat. Jimmy attacked Ford's ribs again. Basically, was it Jimmy or... No, yeah, it was Jimmy. Got a cheap shot kick onto Montez Ford's injured ribs. The Usos, kind of a slingshot suplex where they bounced Ford off the ring steps and then threw him out of the ring where he landed on his injured ribs. The Usos then hit a back suplex on the outside of the ring. Eventually the Profits fought back. Montez Ford hit a big kind of plancha up over the ring post onto the group that was outside, on the Usos who were on the outside. He went for the super blockbuster, only got a 2 count. He went for his frog splash, but Jay blocked it. Jimmy came in and an Uso splash for 2. Ford went for another frog splash, hit it, but then I believe Jimmy Uso broke the pin on Jay. The Usos eventually hit the splash on Ford for the 3 count of the victory. Really good match, really good action. Both teams really work well together. I think this is the first time they face each other, but yeah, definitely another match I want to see in the future because, like I said, these two teams work together almost as well as the Usos and the New Day. I'd like to see more. I don't know if the Street Profits are going back to Raw on the draft or not, but again, if they ever get a chance to face each other again, I'd like to see it. And let's go on to our next match, which is the Raw Women's Championship match, Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss, which is the storyline that no one has liked going into it. Bliss not being Bray Wyatt, still acting like Bray Wyatt, it doesn't work. It just really doesn't. It's really not. But, and the Lily doll and everything. But anyway, this is Alexa Bliss's hometown, so of course that means she's doomed. But she, right off the bat, she had some good moves. She fought out of a tilt-a-roll slam and a big drop kick. She had a flying clothesline off of the apron. Charlotte came back and got Bliss put into a surfboard hold, which of course allows Lexi Kaufman to show off her hyperfluidity. Again, at one point, Charlotte got looked like she was going to hit the vertebraker on Alexa Bliss. That looked really, really nasty hold there, again, because of the Alexa's double jointedness. Bliss countered out of that, sent Charlotte into the turnbuckle. Charlotte came back, hit her big moonsault. Bliss blocked a natural selection and hit a forearm. She went for Twisted Bliss, but Charlotte dodged that. Tried to go for the figure four, but but Bliss countered that into a cradle. At this point, though, Charlotte had enough. She ran over to where Lily was set up on the turnbuckle, grabbed it. Bliss snapped. Charlotte hit the big boot in the natural selection for the 3-count of victory. Afterwards, Charlotte began ripping Lily to pieces. Bliss snapped and attacked Charlotte, but Charlotte just hightailed it out of there, mocking Bliss all the way up the ramp. Afterwards, Bliss looked over to where the remains of Lily were, and she started screaming, and it's supposed to look like she's foaming at the mouth. Unfortunately, the way the camera was set up, you could clearly see the Alka-Seltzer tab sitting on her tongue. And it just, again, whatever moment you were going for was completely blown at that, and I have no idea where this is going. I do think this was a surprisingly good match that I think, like I said, the build-up for it has been terrible, but these two actually worked really well together. So, again, if you could maybe build a better storyline, I would certainly be okay with seeing this again. I don't know if Alexa needs to win or not, but definitely would not be entirely opposed to it. It was kind of like a surprisingly pleasing match. Okay, our next match is the triple threat match for the United States Championship. Damian Priest versus Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. Right off the bat, as they're doing the introduction, Sheamus gets a quick jumping knee on Hardy, knocking him out of the ring. Priest and Sheamus then begin brawling around the outside of the ring, which allowed Hardy to hit Priest with the poetry in motion off the ring steps. At this point, Sheamus and Hardy began brawling a little bit more. Priest came back and hit a big planche to the outside of the ring again. Sheamus caught Hardy and then hit an Irish Curse backbreaker on him. Sheamus then, what did I say here? He got, he went for the clubs on Priest. Priest fought out of it, tried to hit them on Sheamus. Sheamus fought back again, hit kind of a stun gun-like maneuver, but then immediately Hardy caught him with a missile drop kick off the top rope. Sheamus hit Hardy with another move and then locked him in the cloverleaf. And then Priest came in, he went for the reckoning, but Hardy fought out of it and hit the twist of fate. At this point, Sheamus decided to interfere and start mocking. He pushed Hardy off the top rope. He climbed to the top rope himself, made it look like he was going to attempt a swanton, which that would have been a disaster, but instead he just hit a flying knee drop. And Hardy then came in and broke up the pinfall with a swanton, but then Sheamus hit the brogue kick on Hardy. But that, the distraction of that allowed Priest to roll Sheamus up for the 3-count and the victory. Overall, really good match, really fun action, a really good job of balancing everyone. Several points where it did look like, someone was going to win, but you weren't entirely sure. I do think the ending was maybe a little rushed. Again, to end it with a roll-up just didn't make much sense. I mean, at least have Priest hit his finisher. Again, I think that makes him look like a stronger champion, not like he just squeaked by. But other than that, it was a really good match. Again, really solid matches overall on this show so far. And that brings us to the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. And like I said earlier, when I was having my problems with trying to find the pre-show so I could at least cover that match, this is the one that got spoiled for me, unfortunately. The match itself was pretty decent. It did a good job of telling the story, but I guess we'll get to that. Right off the bat, Belair caught Lynch. Again, Becky Lynch tried to go for the handshake. It didn't work this time, as Belair caught her and immediately went for the KOD. Belair hit a big slam and hit a standing frog splash after that, but Becky Lynch came back and started using Bianca's long ponytail against her. She basically pulled her in for a hangman suplex type maneuver. Belair did come back with a big suplex, and then, like I said, the whole time, every time Bianca would start to get some type of advantage, Becky would pull the hair, throw Bianca around and get back on top of the advantage. Eventually, though, the two had a tug of war over the hair, and that enabled, that got Bianca in just enough of a position to hit a big spine buster on Lynch. Again, Lynch fought out of a press slam and tried to get the disarmer locked on. Lynch countered out of a slam attempt and sent Belair into the steps. Eventually, Belair fought back again, got Becky up for the KOD, and that's when Sasha Banks hit the ring. Like I said, this is where I initially came in. I saw Sasha Banks right now, like, okay, so that's what they're going to do. And yeah, she attacked Bianca Belair for the DQ, so Becky Lynch retains. Afterwards, though, Sasha did also attack Becky Lynch, so yeah, we know she's not, forming some new super faction again. Like I said, overall the match was pretty solid. It was doing a good job telling a story. Unfortunately, again, this makes Sasha Banks look really stupid, because why would you attack Bianca and cost her the championship when, if you want to face Bianca for the championship and get your title back, it would have made more sense for you to, let her hit the KOD on Becky, win the championship, and then attack her. It's the same problem. Yeah, again, every time they try to make Sasha look evil, they make her look stupid. And, this goes back to, that Elimination Chamber match, where it comes down to Bayley, Banks, and Alexa Bliss. And it's clear that Bayley and Banks are going to work together right up until, Bayley gets thrown off the pod. And it's like, wait, eliminate Alexa Bliss first, and then you two can face each other. Like, it just, again, it kind of makes everyone look a little stupid. And I don't know where exactly they're going to go for this. I mean, the next technically pay-per-view is Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, and I guess they could do a triple threat there if they can clear everything, but I don't know. I mean, they're trying to treat it like it's a really big show. I'm not covering Crown Jewel. I'll get into more of that when we wrap things up. So anyway, let's go into our main event, the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus the Demon Finn Balor. A couple things that happened during this. At one point, Paul Heyman mysteriously disappeared during the intros, and Reigns noticed. Eventually, Heyman returned at some point. Also, the smoke machine for Balor's entrance malfunctioned, because every time they would lift up the ring apron to grab a weapon out from under the ring, because it was also an Extreme Rules match. In fact, it was the only Extreme Rules match on Extreme Rules. You kept seeing all this smoke start billowing out all over the place. And yeah, it definitely made things, this was a weird match to begin with. Right off the bat, like, Balor got sort of a weird kind of jaw hold on Roman Reigns, but he then pulled out Reigns tried to pull out a kendo stick from under the ring. Balor basically pulled up a bunch of kendo sticks that were strapped together and began attacking Reigns with it. Like I said, that's when the smoke machine started malfunctioning. Reigns fought back. He got a chair. Balor managed to hit a quick double stomp onto the chair. Reigns hit a drive-by drop kick as Balor was attempting to set up a table. The two fought into the crowd, and Reigns actually put on a mask as that happened. They fought all the way to the kickoff show announce table. Reigns slammed Balor down on it, but then Balor hit a crossbody, sending Reigns to another table. They fought back to the ring again. Balor hit a Pele kick. Reigns hit a Superman punch. Reigns hit a spear, but then Balor low-blowed Reigns with kicking out of the pin. This echoed an earlier match between the two. Balor went up for the coup de grace, but the Usos broke up his pin attempt and began throwing Balor around. Balor fought back again. He did something to Jimmy, and then he powerbombed Jay through the announce table. At that point, Reigns speared Balor through the barricade, and this is where the whole match falls apart, unfortunately. Balor, the demon, starts to take over the boom, boom. It's again, the red lights come on, Balor awakens, he snaps up, he attacks everyone, he's just mowing them down. He gets Reigns in the ring, he starts to go for the coup de grace, and then suddenly the top rope breaks. The top turnbuckle breaks, Balor falls down, tweaks his knee, Reigns gets a quick spear for the 3 count and the victory, so Reigns retains. And yeah, this is, they booked themselves into a corner because they had to bring the demon back, but you can't have the demon lose, so you have to come up with this cockamamie way for Reigns to just squeak by. I mean, they did this with The Undertaker all the time, too. Like, you know, Undertaker's facing Yokozuna, and he gets attacked and thrown into the coffin, and his urn is smashed, and then he turns into Marty Jannetty and flies away. So, yeah, again, it's like you have to kind of do the goofy finish, and it's unfortunately it's what killed it. What was a decent match. Like I said, overall, the show the match itself was pretty good. It had great action in it. And again, the problem is they're doing Reigns and Lesnar at Crown Jewel, so you know Balor's not going to get another shot for a while. And Crown Jewel is the only pay-per-view, at least the one I can tell, that's listed for October. And like I said, I'm not doing Crown Jewel because I've learned my lesson on the Saudi shows. Those first two they did, I covered. I regret covering them to this day. The first one was Greatest Royal Rumble. There was a lot of internet connection issues that were happening with that. The network kept crashing repeatedly. I think it was the network app that kept crashing, and it's like I just could not enjoy that show. It killed me. And then after that, there was Crown Jewel and that whole fiasco, and the Saudi journalist who was killed, and they're still putting the show on even though they really shouldn't have. And that will also, the only reason I covered it was because we were going to get a new Universal Champion, because Reigns had to forfeit because it was leukemia, and it's just that whole thing was a fiasco again. Sorry. Anyway, Extreme Rules overall, it was a surprisingly good show, given how I think lackluster the hype was for this, and I think the lackluster a lot of the story building was for this. And yeah, this was just like, it was a good show, made up for the lackluster build. So again, the main event left a kind of sour taste in my mouth. The fact that the ending with Sasha Banks in the women's match also kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Just again, not necessarily terrible, not enough to really kill the show in my opinion, but it definitely does knock it down a few points. That's why I'm giving Extreme Rules 2021 a B. Okay, so yeah, I'll probably there's going to be another video this week. It's going to be another Madden video where I do a better itinerary, but right now the next video after that is going to be the review for Venom 2. I forget what it's called now, I'm getting tired. Sorry. Anyway, and then after that, like I said, I'll go through the rest of the itinerary after that. So, see you all next time. Hey guys, remember to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTime for Cat Productions, where you can help me expand my wrestling coverage to stuff beyond WWE, NXT, and the occasional AEW free show.